Hello there, what is going on everyone? Today I am going to be talking to you about StarCraft, the tabletop miniatures game from Archon Studio. This is the hottest new game that everybody's talking about right now, and pre-orders are live. I have had a lot of you ask, what should I pre-order? Am I going to do a breakdown of what people should pre-order, the different expansions that are available, what bundles are a good value, if I'm on a budget, what do I absolutely have to get? I'm going to talk about all of that in today's video, and there's going to be a link in the description below and in the top pinned comment where you can pre-order the game, and we're going to just jump right into it. Also, we are going to announce the winner of the latest $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. It's going to be at the end of this video, and we'll also start the next giveaway right now. If you want to have a chance to enter to win that, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my other videos. Additionally, you always have to wash your socks, and you can check the links in the description below for, again, pre-ordering, and also our Discord and Battle Foam discounts if you want to save 15% using code Crabbok VIP over at Battle Foam, all that other stuff. Lots of social media links, all kinds of helpful information down in the video description below. So StarCraft, the tabletop miniatures game, skirmish game based on the classic Blizzard video game StarCraft. This is being put out by Archon. It's coming out this year. There will be some available at Adepticon, but I think they said they're only going to have about 500 units, so that means it may sell out very quick, but that's okay. Pre-orders are open right now. They are staying open until April 17th, or in case they hit their capacity, might be a little bit sooner, so don't sleep on this. If you are interested in pre-ordering, get your pre-orders in now. If you haven't already, definitely check out the two-player starter set that I just did an unboxing of. You can check it. It'll be linked at the end of this video. The two-player starter set is going to be the first option that I'm going to mention of what you absolutely positively need to have for most players. And the reason for this is it's by far the best value. This is under $200, and you're getting a tremendous amount. If you're planning on playing multiple factions, this is definitely the way to go. Again, the game is going to have 3 primary factions, plenty of sub-factions also, but at launch you're looking at your basic Terrans, you're looking at Zerg, and you're looking at Protoss, and this particular starter box is a starter Terran army and a starter Zerg army. Also, they have stuff for individual sub-factions. Again, we talked all about this. You're getting a whole lot of stuff in this box. You're getting, again, a standard game is going to be about 2,000 points, but there's a smaller game that's about 1,000 points. You're getting enough to make a 1,000-point army for each of these. You're actually about like 1,100 to 1,200 or so for each of them. So, honestly, 2 of these boxes and you are good to go. You could probably stop there. But wait, there's more, because if you're interested in playing the Protoss, of course, there is a Protoss starter set is also a tremendous value. Again, both of these Founders Editions, the Founders Edition for the Protoss starter set and the Founder Edition for the Terran vs. Zerg starter set, are only going to be made while this pre-order window is open. Those will not be made again. It doesn't mean you still can't get units, but you're not going to get them in this particular bundle or with this particular box art if you're a collector for that. And again, there's a lot of really cool stuff, especially in the 2-player starter. This is definitely the one you want first and foremost, because you're also getting a play mat. You're also getting terrain in here. So much stuff. Again, it's like $199 as far as dollars right now to pre-order, but it's almost twice that much if you were to buy everything out individually. So again, incredible value. Now, if you're only interested in playing Terran, you've got a mission. If you're only interested in playing Terran, you've got to find somebody local that also wants to play Zerg that can split this with you. And if you guys are really crafty, buy 2 of these, split them both up. You're going to be so happy that way. This way you each get a playmat, you each get, your own sets of terrain and all of that great stuff too. But splitting a core set is definitely the best way to go. Splitting 2 core sets is even better. You're getting a maximum amount of miniatures in there. Now, in the first wave of this game, these 2 starters, this starter as well as the Protoss starter, come with most every type of miniature. There are a few notable exceptions, and we're going to talk about those. Each faction also has individual expansion boxes for, like, your Marines are going to have an expansion box, your Zerglings are going to have an expansion box, so on and so forth. so you can buy these things individually. But there is one expansion box per faction that has a new unit that isn't found in this starter set at all. We'll talk about those because you may want to also get those too, but it depends on how much of a budget you're in. It depends on how much you really want to dive into this game. At the bare minimum, you want to get your 2-player starter set, or if you have, if you know other people who are playing or whatever, if you just want to play Protoss, get this starter set. Now, the Protoss starter set will only being around $100. We're going to jump over to the Gamefound page, and I'm going to go over the pricing and everything like that with you here in a second. But this one isn't a full game starter in that it doesn't have the terrain, it doesn't have the playmat, but it still is a full army starter and has like measuring tools and dice and things like that. Each one of these has a hero and a bunch of units in them, and you're going to find more information about everything that comes in these, but they're all about 1,000 points. Basically, this is like your skirmish or your 3x3 battle, and that's one of the things that this game does. It can play on a larger mat. Now, it doesn't do a full 6x3. It's like you drop 9 inches per side, so it's like what, 54 by 54 inches by 36 inches. It's a little bit of an interesting sized mat, and that isn't particularly typical. However, the beauty is that in the 2-player starter set, you're getting a playmat that is exactly that size. It's a felt playmat. Again, check out the unboxing. Not only do I just show you what comes in there, but I also built out at least one of every single miniature in there, so you can now take a look and see how the miniatures actually go together and what the plastic looks like. Spoilers, they're beautiful. So you're really gonna like this. I don't have the Protoss starter yet, but we'll get that. I'm sure it's gonna be beautiful. Let's jump over to the Gamefound page, and we're gonna walk through some more of this because there are lots of bundles. Again, I want to talk about the different types of product that are available. Now, you're probably asking, why are they doing this on Gamefound? Why aren't they doing this on their regular website? And I think one of the reasons for that is that Gamefound offers more play options. There's more pay options available rather for Gamefound, so like PayPal and things like that. So it's just they're able to accept a wider variety of those things. So that's where they're using this as a pre-order system. Again, Gamefound isn't only crowdfunding; it's also a pre-order system as well. It's just like everything for tabletop games. So again, the 2-player starter, you can add this right here for $199, and this is already a discounted price right now, which is. It's just a fantastic deal. I am a little curious about the like $229. If they're not going to be making it again, when would it have ever been the $229? That part I don't understand. Maybe it's like after the pre-order window. If there's any that are going to, like, maybe that's the MSRP, which it'll cost, like if stores get this or anything like that. Or maybe this is what it'll cost at the booth at Adepticon if they sell it there. That does make a little bit of sense. The Protoss starter set, $109. Again, very, very similar as far as savings. You get a little more savings if you price everything out with the 2-player starter as opposed to the Protoss starter. But either way, a lot of players may want to get all 3, especially if you're one of those people that kind of hosts and show, like if you're starting and you're trying to get other people in your local community into the game. This game is actually blowing up. I'm seeing communities jump up and people looking for more, like, and spreading out. The game's not even in hand yet, and communities are forming all over the place, all over the globe. StarCraft is a powerful IP, and the miniatures are such a great quality. This game is going to compete with Warhammer from day one. It's really impressive. So, again, why not save yourself some money and get a fantastic bundle with heroes and all kinds of cool alternate poses and everything that comes in it. We want to look at some of the different expansions, and then we're going to jump up and look at the bundles. Now, some of these I'm going to recommend. Some of them I think are not going to be at the top of my recommendation list. For example, Kerrigan and the Omega Worm and Jim Raynor and the Point Defense Drone. Like, I don't necessarily think you're going to need those. You kind of get those already in your respective starters. They're great if you're fans of the game because each of those do have an alternate way that you can kind of build them for visual purposes. And so if you're a collector, I think those are going to be great expansions for you. However, I would still generally recommend get 2 of the starter because, again, if you're on a budget, that's your best value as opposed to pricing out every other individual expansion. I just think getting 2 of the 2-player starter or 2 of the Protoss starters gets you 2,000 points. You're ready to play. both the small game and the big game right away. And then you can add, you know, your Stalker or something else like that if you want to add one more expansion on top of that. Again, that's still going to be about $400 to get you to a 2,000 point army, or I should say to two 2,000 point armies. Again, if you're getting a 2-player starter set, you're going to have a 2,000 point Zerg if you get 2 of these, and a 2,000 point Terran if you get 2 of these. So fantastic value there, and even better if you can split that with somebody else, because then you're basically looking at about $200 for a 2,000 point army. That doesn't happen very often in wargaming, especially models of this quality, especially for a licensed game. It's a very good deal. I can't do that for GW games. Star Wars Legion struggles to try to even meet that kind of a deal. So this is a fantastic deal. So with that being said, same thing with Arctanus and the Pylon. Again, these top 3, the hero expansions, you're getting that same stuff in the Protoss. The only thing about this is, since I haven't built the Protoss yet, I might want to say get another Arctanus and a Pylon, because we must construct more Pylons. We must. You know, it's just you know, it's a cool miniature too. Like the collector in me would want Pylons like all over the place. I'd bring them to my desk and bring them to work and stuff like that. That'd be a cool one. Next up is the Lost Temple Terrain expansion set. This has got some terrain in the playmat. Again, I don't think this is going to be really necessary for everybody. Because also, again, if you're a gamer, you're probably not going to need more than one of the same playmat. Again, you're probably getting a starter already. But maybe if you want tables that are exclusively StarCraft themed terrain, exclusively licensed terrain, then maybe you get another one of these. But again, if you're buying 2 starters, maybe if you're only buying 1 starter but you want more, like there's enough terrain in the box to do a 3x3 playmat. But if you're going for the full game, you know, you might need a little more terrain than that. I know a lot of us, though, already have terrain and sometimes like to use our own terrain. So again, this one's just for those people that are like more terrain purists that want all of that StarCraft thematic terrain. That's kind of who that expansion I think is for. Or maybe you just really like the way that it looks and you really like the StarCraft themed terrain, like the Protoss relics and all of that kind of stuff. It does kind of capture some of the spirit of of the game, but again, you're getting that in the 2-player starter also. Now we're going to talk about the Zerg stuff first. The Hydralisk expansion, that one does not come in the starter set. If you want to play Zerg, you're going to want the Hydralisk expansion. That's going to be $49. That's, again, you're getting 4 models there, so that's not bad. Zergling set you don't really need, but Zerglings, you're getting a whole lot of actual models in there. The Zerglings are not super tiny either. They're on a 32mm base, and they're not even that hard to assemble. Sometimes you think of Swarm miniatures as being a pain in the butt to assemble. Honestly, I think the Zerglings are very easy to assemble. Kudos to Archon for designing a really easy to assemble model. They're great, and they have great detail. So yeah, you're getting a lot of models. It's one of your best value like per model on that one, and that one's pretty cool. So, you know, and again, the Zergling comes with, I want to say this one comes with 18 models in it, which is, you can run, like, there's different levels. Like, if you're running Zerglings, you can run a small one, or a large one, or a medium one, right? Or small, medium, or large. This is enough for you to run, like, a maxed out Zerg unit, where you have enough to run, like, 2 Zerg units in the core set, but not 2 maxed out Zerg units. So it is theoretically possible that there's some value in here. Also, you're also getting tactics cards in these, and you don't have like every tactics card. I didn't get every tactics card that exists in the game printed in the core set. So like each of these expansions has, like, you know, at least one tactics card that looks to be like unique to it right now. If you want the physical printed tactics card, then that's another advantage to getting any of these given expansions, even if you don't really need them. The Roach expansion, also $49.99 or $49, I should say. Not a whole lot of crucial need to get this one, except there's like different variants. There is like out of the 4 sprues that they made for Roaches, like the third one isn't in the core box. It's actually in this Roach expansion, and that's for the Vile Roach. You have like regular Roaches and Corpsers that you can build, but the Vile variant is only supposed to be coming in the Roach expansion set, did not come with the core set. The Queen is just that one model. She's 35. She's a little cheaper, but she's a big and beautiful. She's one of the most beautiful models in the whole game. You might want her just because she's a really gorgeous model, but again, she also comes in the core set. Marines, very similar to Zerglings in that you're getting 9 here instead of that. You have like 2 units of 6, which is like the smaller unit. You can run a 6 or a 9. Right, so this is kind of like a reinforced or a big unit of Marines. Plus, Marines are just cool. I can see you maybe wanting some of those. The Marauders, you're getting 4 in here. Now, the cool thing about this particular expansion is you only get 2 Marauders in the core set. So this gives you 3 times as many as Marauders as you would have had otherwise. If you get this now, you'll have 6, 2 from the core set and 4 from the expansion. So that one is pretty cool. The Medics is only 29. Not a whole lot of extra value there unless you just want more medics. And then the Goliath, which at $49 is, again, it's more one of the more pricier ones, but I mean, it's kind of standard. I wouldn't even call that pricier. That's just the kind of like the average. The Goliath is not found in the core set, so you're going to want a Goliath. And I think if you're a Terran player, you're definitely going to want a Goliath. Goliath online, and then when you move it though, like you have to make the sound effect, something like that. Sorry, I do this stuff. I get very excited when I talk about games and IPs and things that are really cool, science fiction based games, space based games. This is what I always love to talk about. And so if you're new here to the channel, I have a genuine excitement for stuff like this, and I know sometimes it can be a bit much, so I'm trying to dial it in a little bit. I'm trying to be professional here, but it's as exciting. This is really exciting stuff because they're doing a whole lot more stuff too. So it's so cool. All right, so let's talk about the Protoss. Again, kind of a similar deal. We've got the Zealots for $39. Now the thing with the Protoss generally have fewer models per unit, fewer miniatures than everybody else, and I think that is one of the things that leads to their individual expansions being priced a little bit lower. The developers have said that they think that the Protoss are probably going to be the easiest faction to jump into if you're a brand new player, because you have fewer models, you have fewer things to worry about, and also probably easier to get them painted and easier to get your force assembled, since you're fewer and more elite. Then of course you have less to paint. So, again, there's a whole lot of reasons why I think some new players might prefer the Protoss. Plus, the Protoss are really cool, which is another cool thing. So the Zealot expansion is only $39. The Adept expansion is $39. The Sentry expansion is only $35. That also comes with the 2 sentries, and of course the barriers to kind of block off movement. It's such a cool ability. I always liked that in the video game too. And then the Stalkers. You're getting 2 Stalkers for $49, so this is again that full price expansion. The Stalkers do not come in the core set, so you're going to want, if you're playing Protoss, you're probably going to want at least one of these Stalker boxes. And those are all the individual base expansions. There's also, they have the promo Zeratul expansion. I've unboxed this one on the channel. This is not a playable unit yet, and it is a early. This one will not be made forever. This was like an exclusive for certain conventions, and if you're going to, like, if you were at Essen, you could have picked this one up there. They sold it online for a little bit. I bought one online. It comes with 2 models, but just one base. You're having Zeratul and then a cloaked Zeratul, which is like totally clear plastic. It looks like you can see right through him. It's very cool. There's only one base in there, but hey, guess what? If you have that Zeratul, there's a couple of extra bases amongst the starters. Like for those heroes, each have 2 different bases you can go with each. So I bet you can find an extra base for Zeratul somewhere if you really wanted to, or you just put him on any given base, right? But he's not actually in game yet. We don't have rules for him yet, and he will be available in the future in a normal expansion, but he just won't be necessarily available in this sculpt, so he'll look different. So this is more of just for a collector. Or somebody who's going to continue to play Protoss, and when Zeratul comes out, they want to have this particular version. That's what's up with this version of Zeratul. There's no telling how long it will be available for, so you may want to grab this one. So let's now talk about bundles, because this is, I think, what people are like, what bundles do I really need? What should I actually get? The best bundle right now is the Army Founders bundle. You've got both core sets, if you get both core sets together, which would normally have been like 310, it's now going to be 289. So you're saving money there. It's yeah, and this is just basically those two core sets, nothing else. This gives you almost everything except for you're not getting Zeratul unless you maybe already have him, and you're not getting like the Stalker or the Goliath or the Hydralisks. So this one does leave a little bit out, but this is like if you're going for just raw models, I'd get 2 of these bundles, especially if you got some friends who are all gonna like divvy up the armies or something like that, or if you want to play multiple armies. This is a great value, great way to go. Again, these pre-orders are ending April 17th or possibly sooner if they completely sell out of, but they're from what I understand is they're not going to make them anymore after that. So once they close up pre-orders, they're going to say, okay, we've got 100,000 pre-orders, let's print 100,000 boxes, and they're not going to make like a second 100,000 to sit on store shelves. So get your pre-orders in now. I don't know if those numbers are anywhere close to accurate. I have no idea what how many pre-orders they've gotten so far. But my point is, they could potentially hit like a capacity. There are other bundles. So if, for example, you are looking to play just Protoss, there is a Protoss bundle for $239. And basically, all of these bundles are adding more things, and there's different sections of them. Like, okay, I want everything for Protoss. And then, hey, that's fine. Now all of a sudden you can get your dudes. It's everything except for an extra leader, right? You don't necessarily need an extra leader there. There's also one for the... I really like this one. I think this is probably the one I would recommend for people who don't already have Zeratul. Because this gets you a Zeratul. Also, it gets you both starters, and it gets you the expansion that doesn't come with each starter. So it gets you a Goliath, a Hydralisk, and a Stalker. This is probably my favorite bundle out of the entire bunch. There's also, if you're not playing Protoss, there's a Terran and Zerg bundle. Again, this gets you the Terran and Zerg starter. It gets you some extra, like for it to kind of get you up to 2,000 point armies. It gets you some extra stuff. It gets you a Goliath. It gets your Hydralisks. It gets you some Roaches and Zerglings and Marauders and Marines. It's not everything though. It's like there's not a medic in here. There's not another queen. Things maybe you don't really need those, but there's also the terrain box in here, which I feel like maybe I personally wouldn't want that because I have a whole lot of terrain. One box of terrain is probably enough, and I probably would like to get like a second starter, and so I'd already have a second thing of terrain just in there. So I don't feel like I'd need that extra terrain box. But if you're averse, you want to get a lot of stuff but don't want to get Protoss at all, this might be one for you. And then there's an all-in bundle. This is the big granddaddy bundle. This is a lot of stuff. This is $669. This one is, if you got deep pockets, but they're not that deep, but moderately deep, and you still want to get some savings. This one gets you kind of everything. It labels everything out. The reason I'm not as crazy about this one is because I'd rather if you just want to have like one bundle locked in, I got everything, I'm good. That's a great way to go. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's going to get you a ton of stuff. You're also getting Zeratul thrown in there. You're also getting the extra terrain box. You're getting all 4 expansions for every single thing. I think this is everything except for the 3 bonus leader expansions, which are there. You don't need more than 1 copy of Kerrigan. You don't need more than 1 copy of Raynor or Artanis. They would just be there if you want to do the alternate pose or an alternate assembly. So it's like everything except those. And of course you can also add anything else in that you want. So when we go back to the main thing, like what I would probably do is, say, if I wanted to play all 3 factions, I'd get like maybe 2 copies, because you can get multiple bundles, right? 2 copies of the Founders bundle, which is going to be both starters, and then add maybe like 1 Hydralisk, 1 Goliath, and 1 Stalker, and something like that. Because that'd be a whole lot of stuff. Again, with the 2 core sets, I'm going to have tons of terrain. You're also going to have 2 playmats. You can split things up. That's kind of what I would recommend doing. But go through anything that you don't have, because I also already have Zeratul, so I don't need any of the bundles that come with Zeratul, right? So those are some of my suggestions. There's an option in here. There's a bundle for everybody. You can add a bundle. You can add extra things. If you know you're splitting a core set with somebody, maybe you don't want Hydralisks because you're not going to play Zerg, you know, or maybe you want to have a small army to be able to demo things like at your local game store, but you really want to go more in on Protoss or whatever. You can add whatever else you need down here, and that's everything. Again, a link to this is going to be in the video description below. Hopefully that was helpful. I tend to ramble a little bit because especially with this stuff, I'm very excited, so I kind of talk a little bit more than maybe I needed to be, but hopefully the visual references helped you. Link in the description below. We also have a giveaway winner to announce. So today's winner for the $25 Amazon gift card giveaway that you can put towards a gaming expansion of your choice, or maybe some extra dice, or whatever, maybe some terrain, or maybe something else. So today's winner is Ripman5251. Congratulations, Ripman5251. Go ahead and shoot me an email at mailcrabbok@gmail.com, and we'll get you squared away. And as always, let me know what you want. I do lots of different giveaways, and I hate to confuse you with somebody else. If you didn't win, don't worry. Next giveaway starts right now. Let me know what you're excited about with StarCraft, the miniatures game. What do you think is the bundle for you? And is somebody out there going to assemble Kerrigan on the Omega worm, that big old Nidus worm, right? People have actually asked me a couple of times, if you are assembling Kerrigan on the worm, is that a gameplay thing? That's more of a visual thing. If you just want a worm with Kerrigan, I wouldn't recommend doing that if you have only 1 Kerrigan. If you have multiple Kerrigans, though, go ahead and put one on a worm, and it's going to be the super awesome worm, right? Especially if you're getting one of those to kind of like paint up for like a diorama. I really want to see what kind of dioramas people come up with for this game, because the amount of Zerglings alone, you can do some crazy cool stuff. It's exciting. It's very cool. And that's today's video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. Patrons, you guys are absolutely amazing and help make this whole channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all. Cowabunga. My life for hire. And always wash your socks.